Ever thrown money at a mechanic for a problem that started out tiny, so small that a 5-minute look under the hood would have saved you the whole headache? And you know what's more frustrating than the bill? Knowing the warning was right there. It was showing up a week before, 2 weeks before, and nobody ever taught you how to read it. Most of the big, wallet-destroying car problems don't just show up out of nowhere. They warn you: a little noise, a spot on the driveway, a light that blinks a little differently. Today I'm going to show you exactly what to check. With no mechanic degree, no fancy tools, no need to know what a camshaft even does. And stick around to the end, because the last tip is about tires, and it could literally be the difference between you making it home or not on a wet highway. Before we get into it, if you're not subscribed yet, hit that button right now and ring the bell. Because every week, I'm dropping content like this. Straight to the point. No fluff. For people who want to take care of their car without becoming a grease monkey. And drop a comment below telling me what you're driving. I want to know what you've got in the driveway. All right, let's get into it once everything's safe and ready to go. Let's talk about the checks you should be doing every 2 weeks. Not every 6 months. Not whenever I feel like it. Every 2 weeks. It's the bare minimum to not get blindsided. First up, engine oil. This is the lifeblood of your car, and here's how it works. Start the car, let it warm up for a few minutes, shut it off, and wait about a minute. Then pull the dipstick. On most modern American cars, your Chevys, Fords, to Hyundai, it's usually a bright yellow loop or a brightly colored handle. Clearly labeled. Pull it out, wipe it clean with a rag, push it all the way back in, pull it out again. Now you read it. You'll see 2 marks, min and max. You want to be somewhere between them. The gap between those 2 marks, that's about a quart of oil on most cars. So if you're sitting right in the middle, you need to add half a quart, simple as that. Here's a detail people miss. If the engine's cold, the level will read a bit low. That's normal. Oil expands with heat. Ideally, check it when the engine's warm, like right after you get home. Shut it off. Wait a minute. Check it. If the oil is low, top it off with the correct oil for your car. That info is right on the oil cap or in a sticker under the hood. Don't just grab whatever's on sale. But here's where it gets interesting. If you top it off and a week later, it's low again, that's your cue to investigate. Mark the level. Write down the date and your mileage. Check again after about 200 miles. If it's dropped again, head to your mechanic and bring those notes with you. You'll save time and money because you're walking in with data, not just a gut feeling and a prayer. Next, coolant. A lot of people call this radiator water, but it's actually a specific mixture that keeps your engine from turning into a very expensive bonfire. Here's where people get confused. Most cars have 2 coolant reservoirs. One is the radiator itself, with a big cap that says danger all over it. The other is a small, translucent plastic reservoir off to the side, the overflow tank. Here's how it works. The cooling system is sealed and pressurized. When it heats up, the coolant expands and needs somewhere to go. That little tank is where it goes. When the engine cools down, the coolant gets pulled back in. So that tank is what you check. It has min and max markings right on the side. Cold engine, level will be toward the bottom. Hot engine should be near the top. Both are normal. The problem is when the engine's hot and the level's at or below minimum, or when the engine's cold and the tank is bone dry, that means you've got a leak and you need to deal with it. And please, never open the radiator cap when the engine is hot. Never. That system can be over 250 degrees Fahrenheit under pressure. You will get a face full of boiling coolant. There is no situation where that's worth it. The overflow tank tells you everything you need to know. Just look at that. Use the correct coolant for your car, check your owner's manual, or ask at the dealership. Mixing the wrong products can damage your hoses and eventually your engine. Keep a jug of the right stuff in the garage. It doesn't expire as long as you keep it sealed and out of direct sunlight. Now here's one that people get way to hands-on with. Brake fluid. This one's delicate for a couple of reasons. First, it's corrosive. Get it on your skin. It burns. Get it on your paint. It starts eating through in minutes. Always wear gloves if you're handling it. And if it drips on your car, wash it immediately with soap and water. But for your regular check, you don't need to open anything. On most modern American cars, The brake fluid reservoir is translucent with min-max markings right on the outside. Just look at it. Don't touch it. Here's something most people don't know. Brake fluid level naturally drops as your brake pads wear down. New pads equals fluid at max. Worn down pads equals fluid near min. So the fluid level is actually an indirect indicator of your brake pad life. What you don't want to do is top off the fluid just because it looks low without checking the pads first. If the pads are still good and you add fluid, the next time you change the pads, the fluid will overflow because fresh pads push the fluid back up. Keep an eye on the level. Write it down. If it drops significantly between checks and you haven't touched the brakes, that could be a leak in your brake system. That's serious. Get to a mechanic immediately. Let me tell you a quick story. A buddy of mine with a 2020 Camry spent 2 months thinking a whining noise when he turned the wheel was just how the car sounds. You know what it was? Low power, steering, fluid. By the time he got to the shop, the pump had already taken damage. The repair cost him nearly 3 times what it would have cost to just fix the leak early on. That's exactly the kind of thing we're trying to avoid today. Speaking of power steering, heads up. A lot of newer cars now have electric power steering, which uses zero fluid. If you've got something like a newer Civic, Corolla, Mustang Mach-E, or most vehicles from the last 5 to 7 years, you can skip this part entirely. But if you're rolling in something older, the reservoir has markings for both hot and cold. Check it at the right temperature and top it off with the correct fluid if needed. If you hear a whine or a groan, every time you turn the wheel, check the level first. Driving around with a screaming pump is burning through a part that can cost anywhere from $200 to $800 to replace, depending on the car. Don't be that guy. Air filter. This is the item your mechanic will always want to upsell you on. And honestly, it's not because they're wrong, it's because most people never look at this thing. Good news. Replacing an air filter might be the easiest maintenance job that exists. On most cars, it's just a plastic box held by clips or a couple of screws. Pop it open, swap the filter, done. You can find a tutorial for your exact car on YouTube in about 3 minutes. The filter itself runs anywhere from $15 to $40 at AutoZone, O'Reilly, or Advance Auto. How do you know it's time? Pull it out and look. One side will be clean, the other will be dirty. If it's packed with dust, debris, and the occasional unfortunate bug, it's time. Don't try to clean it with compressed air or bang it against the tire like it's a welcome mat. You can tear the internal folds and create a gap where dust goes straight into your engine. The filter is cheap, the engine's not. If you're driving in a big city, LA, Houston, Chicago, New York, expect to check it more often than someone driving through rural Montana. As a general rule, check it around every 12,000 to 15,000 miles. Battery. I'm going to be straight with you. If your battery is more than 5 years old, replace it. Don't test your luck. Batteries don't send you a calendar invite when they're about to die. They just die. And it's always on a Monday morning when you're already running late in a parking garage in the heat. Batteries have zero chill. Here's the one trick that will save you when you replace the battery. Grab a Sharpie and write the month and year right on the battery. Big and clear. That way, you never have to guess. And your mechanic can't pretend they don't know when it was last replaced. You open the hood and it's right there. On battery maintenance, over time, you'll see a white or grayish buildup on the terminals. That's corrosion from the gases the battery releases, and it slowly drains your charge. To clean it, use gloves, a damp rag, and water. If it's really built up, a small wire brush does the trick. Keep it out of your eyes, and toss the rag when you're done. Lights, this takes 2 minutes and can save you from an accident or a traffic ticket that'll ruin your whole week. Once a week, do this. Park the car. Turn on the left. Turn signal. Walk around it, blinking normally. Good. Right signal. Check. Step on the brake. Both lights come on bright. Good. Headlights low. High. Parking lights. License plate light. Done. Here's the thing nobody thinks about. If a bulb is out, you don't know. The car doesn't tell you. You find out at a traffic stop or when someone rear-ends you because they thought you were slowing down. A replacement bulb costs $10 to $30. The ticket costs way more. The fender bender costs way more than that. 2 minutes, once a week, new excuses. Check the ground under your car. This is the single habit that separates people who get cheap repairs from people who get ruined by them. Every time you park, before you walk away, look at the ground under the car. 5 seconds. If there's a spot, you've already got a clue. Clear, no smell, probably a sea condensation, normal, move on. Dark, brownish, strong smell. Engine oil. Don't ignore that. Green or orangish. Coolant. That's serious coolant is what keeps your engine from overheating. Reddish. Power steering fluid or transmission fluid. And here's what nobody tells you. Leaks never start big. They start as a little spot you think is nothing. Then it becomes a puddle. Then it becomes overheating. Then it becomes a blown head gasket. Then it becomes a bill you weren't ready for. And it all started because you didn't look down for 5 seconds. Catch it early, and you're looking at maybe $50 to $100. Let it go, and you could be staring down $2,000 to $4,000. 5 seconds, every day. Smallest investment in your car's entire life. Opening the hood. Yes, we need to cover this. I know it sounds obvious, but I promise you, half the people watching this aren't totally sure how to do it correctly. On almost every American car, the release handle is on the left side, under the dash, near your left knee. Pull it once, and the hood pops up slightly, but doesn't open all the way. That's because there's a secondary safety latch. Go to the front of the car, reach under the hood, feel around for a lever or button, and release it. Now it opens. That secondary latch exists so that if you forget to close the hood properly, it doesn't fly open on the highway and take out your windshield and possibly you. Once it's open, make sure it stays open. Newer cars have hydraulic struts that hold it up automatically. Older cars have a metal prop rod you slot into a hole. If your struts are getting weak and the hood starts drifting down while you're working, that is not a fun experience when your head is underneath it. There's a cheap clip you can find on Amazon or at any auto parts store that locks onto the strut and keeps the hood in place. Worth every penny. And now the part everyone ignores and shouldn't. Tires. Your tires are the only part of your car actually touching the road. Every bit of engineering, your brakes, your stability control, all of it works through the tires. And yet most people glance at them like, yep, round, looks fine, and call it a day. Tread depth first. The federal minimum in the US is 2/32 of an inch. That's where the wear indicator bars show up. Those little raised ridges in the grooves. Legally, when your tread hits those bars, you need new tires. But practically speaking, your performance, especially in rain, is already compromised well before that. Pick up a tread depth gauge. You can grab one for $5 to $15 on Amazon. Check 3 points on each tire, both edges and the center. A tire can be worn down on one side and look fine from the other. The lowest reading you find is the real number. New tires generally start at 10/32 of an inch. Start thinking about replacements around 4/32. Below to 30 seconds, that's a real safety risk, especially if you're driving in rain. But tread isn't everything. Age matters too. And this is the part almost nobody checks. Every tire has a dot code on the sidewall. The last 4 digits tell you the week and year of manufacture. 2022 means it was made in the 20th week of 2022. Why does this matter? Because rubber ages, it dries out, hardens, and develops A tire that's 5 years old, even with plenty of tread left and looking totally fine, has degraded rubber and can be more dangerous than a 2-year-old tire with lower tread. General safety guidance. Start thinking about replacing tires at 5 years from the manufacture date. Over 6 years, replacement is strongly recommended, regardless of how they look. While you're at it, check the sidewalls for bulges or cracks. A bulge in the sidewall is a structural failure inside the tire. It can blow out at any moment. Don't mess around with that. And pressure. The correct pressure for your car is on a sticker inside the driver's door jamb or on the fuel door. Check it when the tires are cold, before you've driven more than a mile or two. Grab a digital tire pressure gauge, $15 to $25. Lasts forever. Check all 4 tires every 2 weeks. Properly inflated tires get better gas mileage, last longer, and stop shorter. That's literally money in your pocket and your safety on the road. One last thing before you close the hood, and people get this wrong all the time. You don't slam a hood like you're closing a Tupperware lid. You lift it to the right height and let it fall under its own weight, the way you'd close a car door. That's it. Pushing it down hard from the top can dent it, and bodywork ain't cheap. After it closes, give it a gentle upward tug to make sure it latched. If it pops back up, the latch needs adjustment. Do not drive with a hood that isn't fully latched. Non-negotiable. General care tips that actually make a difference. Keep it clean. And not just because it looks good. A clean interior doesn't collect debris between parts, doesn't have loose objects rattling around, making weird noises, and lasts significantly longer. Make it a habit to clear everything out when you park. Food and drink spills destroy interiors over time. A dry microfiber cloth on the plastics every now and then makes a huge difference over the years. The most neglected interior surface, the windshield from the inside. A film of grease builds up from the AC, your breath, and just the general environment. It kills visibility, especially at night driving into headlights. Wipe it down with a clean cloth and a glass cleaner once a week. Sounds like overkill until you do it and realize you've been basically driving with sunglasses on at night. If you're in a coastal area, Florida, the Carolinas, California coast, or anywhere that deals with road salt in winter, basically anything north of the Mason-Dixon line from November through March. Regular washing is protection, not vanity. Salt eats through the undercarriage. You can't see it happening, but it is. If you're in a salty environment, washing every 2 weeks isn't being extra. It's just basic maintenance. All right, wrapping this up, here's what actually matters. You don't need to be a mechanic. You don't need to understand how an engine works. You don't need to watch 400 YouTube videos about torque specs. You just need 15 minutes every 2 weeks going through the basics I showed you today. Engine oil, checked. Coolant, checked. Brake fluid, look at it, write it down. Power steering fluid, checked if your car uses it. Air filter, peek at it every so often. Battery, do you know when it was last replaced? Tires, pressure, tread depth, manufacture date, checked. That's it. That's the whole list. With this routine, you'll catch small problems before they become expensive ones. You'll walk into the mechanic with information instead of just a look of helpless confusion and an open wallet, and your car will last a whole lot longer. If this video helped you out, drop a like. It genuinely helps the channel and lets me keep making content like this. Got a question? Something happened to your car and you have no idea what it means? Leave it in the comments. I read all of them and I try to respond to as many as I can. You can also suggest the next topic down below. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and share this video with that person, the one who's never opened their hood in their life. You might be saving their car, or honestly, maybe even them.